Good morning, evening, afternoon, night, wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel. So the Amabokoboko is finally announced, the first team in 20 months. And it's up against Georgia as a preparation for the upcoming test matches against the Lions. And this is an interesting lineup. This is a mix of new and old players. And the Springboks is definitely looking at trying some different combinations whilst maintaining a lot of the backbone of the team that won the 2019 Rugby World Cup. So this is very interesting to see how they're going to fare. And they're up against none other than Georgia. Okay, so Georgia has been known to be a team that just loves scrummaging. They love scrummaging. And they are actually a team that's been developing quite well in recent years. And there has been calls, in fact, for Georgia to potentially replace Italy in the Six Nations. And the only reason that is not carried out at the moment is that Six Nations has a lot of TV rights with Italy. But in terms of skill level, Georgia has been really, really on the rise. And if we just have a quickly look at their recent results, they played in Autumn Nations Cup last year, which they fared quite well. They didn't win any games since the competition was quite tough, but they did fare quite well. And they were considered... They considered that they did better than Italy as far as the media was concerned. And you can see they actually have a bit of a winning streak in the Tier 2 nations, so to speak. They've been beating Netherlands, beat Romania, beat Russia, beat Spain, beat Portugal in a bit of a winning streak. And then Russia again, 5-win streak. And this is like... That's there's a bit of a win streak going. If they can beat the Springboks, that'll be 6-win. I mean, it'd be a shame to lose that. And this is the Autumn Nations Cup last year. Lost to Ireland, lost to Wales, lost to England. But they did do quite. Oh yeah, here. Lost to Scotland. That's not the Autumn Nations Cup, by the way. Let's go back a bit. They lost to Fiji in a really competitive match there as well. So Georgia is definitely on the rise. A team that could potentially have developmental, could potentially spark a local interest and develop into something in the future, especially potentially develop something that's better than Italy. That's something that is definitely possible in the near future. So South Africa is definitely not just going to be an easy run over for South Africa. But, the world champions, I just wanted to see how informed they are, to be honest. I just want to see if they're going to drop. We saw Japan last week. Japan has been out of the game for just as long as South Africa, 1 week longer, because Japan was knocked out of the Rugby World Cup by South Africa 2 weeks earlier. So South Africa played an extra 2 weeks because they made all the way to the finals. But Japan came back last week, so they came back a week early. So Japan actually only had 1 week shorter of a break than South Africa. And Japan looked really, really smooth. There was no stupid handling. I can't remember. There was maybe a couple of really just poor handling errors, but mostly was really smooth. All the set pieces was really smooth. It didn't look like Japan had a break at all, to be honest. So that's something that I'm hoping to see out of the Springboks. Let's have a look at the lineup and let's get on with the team. First of all, we have Oxnish. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. And he's the reserve prop. So he's probably not going to get a full run for the test matches, but it's good to see him have a start here. We have Bongi Bonambi. He is the starting hooker for the Springboks at the World Cup. He's very, very experienced and quite solid. So having him in the hooker position means that the line out will be pretty much set. The Springboks lineup will be pretty set. And then we have Trevor Nyake. He's also a starting. He was also a injury reserve, so he did not start or reserve for the Rugby World Cup. And so that's the front row against the Georgian front row. I'm not gonna pretend to know them, but you can read the names. The Georgians front scrums has been known to be their strength. So this will be a nice little test for the two relatively new props. So the scrum will be something very interesting to look at least at the start of the game for the props. And then you can see that South Africa really wanted to make sure the line-out works well. They've brought in the big gun, Ibn Isbeth at number 4, Franco Monster at number 5. Monster is probably not as good as Diaga. They probably opted to rest Diaga, but Monster is also a incredibly good reserve for the Springboks. And that's probably something they are looking at to making sure that the consistency of the lineouts. In the loose forwards, Sia Khaleesi, the captain, Peter Step Dutoy at number 7, which is the blind side. So open side is Sia Khaleesi. Peter Step is a blind side flanker. And Peter Step is also a potential second rower as well. So he's also there to make sure that the lineouts he's the additional third lineout option, and he's also there to make sure that the set piece from the lineout goes well. So it is pretty obvious that the Springboks wants to work on their set pieces from the lineouts. As you can see, that they have pretty much all the big guns ready to go to make sure that the lineout is done and set proper. So yeah, it's pretty. This is something that it's pretty obvious that Springbok is working on for this game. Kawaga Smith at number 8. He just to finish off the loose 3 trio. The Georgians, I am not even going to pretend or bother reading these because that's just going to be... Do they all have the same last... Like, what? Not... Ritzi. Tatzi. Nazi. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother. I apologize. But have fun, commentators. Anyway, and then at number 9, so the backline, they do have a bit of shuffling. The Springbok backline, this definitely is more of a injury reserve for the backline. We have Kobus, Reinach, Knight. So yeah, so there is Faf on the bench? No. So Faf is not on the bench, but Herschel Yensi is on the bench. I was expecting Herschel to be starting, to be honest, because he is the reserve, like the your normal reserve for number 9. But they wanted to try a bit of newer players. I mean, it is Georgia, so Kobus, Reinach at number 9, 100 Pollard starting at 10. He has been, he is technically the starting number 10. But he has been injured in club rugby in Europe, so he didn't really get that much game time recently. So so they wanted to obviously give him some game time, but they really don't want to push him too hard and get him injured. This will be a nice warm up to get him back into international rugby shake. Afilele Fasi, I think he's he's at number 11 as Afilele at number 11. Over Mapimpi, but yes. Anyway, I think the Springboks are trying out players to see how they fare. At center, Franz Stein. He is a very, very solid center. He's my hero. What else can I say? No, did I say Franz Stein? Francois Stein. He's my hero. Yeah, I don't know. He is. World Cup, dual World Cup winner. And good to see him back at center. Jesse Krill, also a very solid player for the Springboks at center position. I think Delende might still be injured. That's why these two guys are in. But I also, again, it's against Georgia. They are looking at trying new combinations. Delende had like a fire incident with RG Snyman. I think they both got like some fire injury in Europe. Not sure how well they've recovered. They should be able to be okay for the test matches, just from minor burns on the skin. So probably just resting from that. But Francois Stein, dual World Cup winner, you can't really, say too much. He won the World Cup 19, just turned 20 in 2007. And when I was 19 and 20, I was living in my mom's basement. So, and this guy was winning the World Cup, reaching the pinnacle of rugby. So yes, I am extremely envious of this guy. In fact, I bought this jersey because of him. Partly because of him. Okay, very, very talented, and and very, very envious of this guy. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. At number 14, Rusko Speckman. I think he's debuting this game potentially over the speedster Cheslin Kobe, and then we have Villy LaRue at number 15. Just so, Villy LaRue has always been a very solid backbone for the Springboks. And I was expecting them to potentially try someone else at number 15. But it looks like they wanted to warm Villy LaRue back into his spot at number 15. I'm actually surprised that they put LaRue here. I thought they would try someone else for the 15 spot, because this is against Georgia. But then again, we all know he's he sometimes drops the ball. I will say, hopefully he drops the ball no more than twice this game. That'll be a good start for the international season for him. But yeah, Villy LaRue, pretty solid. Bit of a one of the big guns for the Springboks. On the bench, a lot more of their big guns are on the bench. Malcolm Marks, he's the hooker. Very, very good for the Springboks. He was reserved for the World Cup as well. I'm surprised they didn't start him. I think they might looking at starting him for the test matches. He is absolutely spectacular in terms of in every aspect for the Springboks. Stephen Kitov looks like he's potentially going to be the starting number 1 over the old beast position. So he's very well done, young man, and he's really, he's he's grown quite a bit since the last 2 years from the Currie Cup and the Rainbow Cup as well. Franz Malbert, he's the big gun for the Springboks. He's the one that absolutely demolished the English scrum in the Rugby World Cup. So yeah, he's on the bench. So you might see him come on for last. Typically in the test match, last 35 minutes. But for this one, I think he probably just gonna get on for the last 20 minutes just to get a same with Kitov. I think they're just gonna get on for the last 20 minutes or maybe even 15 just to get a bit of just get a bit of blood running. That is it. They're not gonna try to risk too much for the injuries. But yeah, these two are the big the reserve front row is the big guns for the Springboks. And the scrums could really turn against the Georgians in the second half. Marvin Ori at number 19, Jasper Weiss at 20. I think Jasper is debuting as well. Herschel Yentis, very, very good player. I thought he would be starting, but he has done really, really well as a finisher for the Springboks. And then Elton Yentis at number 22. He had a bit of a COVID issue, but he tested negative. So it's good to see him that recovers really quickly and back in the team. So yeah, it's good to see Yentis. And also, I think he might play like a 50-50 with Andre Pollard. So they might both take like each half because they both need some game time. I think he was in not really much, didn't get much game time in the club season as well. It's good. It's funny that the guy that's potentially actually going to start in the test matches is Morné Stein, to be honest. To see how, and it really comes down to how these two players go today or in the next few weeks. But Morné Stein most likely going to be the most informed out of the three number 10s. And yeah, I would not be surprised to see Morné Stein starting in the first test match against the Lions. And lastly, Damien Valemsi. He is also debuting today, I think. And potentially getting their first cap. And yeah, that is the Springboks team. Interesting lineup. It looks like they really packed up the front row. Not front row. They really packed up the 4-pack. a little bit, whereas the back line, they're looking at trying a few things. Like the core players is definitely there. Pollard, Francois Stein, Jesse Krill, and Willie Leroux. So, be interesting to see. It's really about how rusty the Springboks are. Hopefully not as rusty as we expect. And this game will really tell. If Willie Leroux drops the ball like 6 times, then there's a big issue for the Springboks. But if Willie Leroux only has like 1 or 2 knock-ons, will be a really good day for him. You know? And it's going to be a really good day for the Springboks. We'll see how it goes. Are they going to be as good as Japan last week? We have to wait and see. But yeah, Georgia, not expect to win this one. It's going to lose their 5-game winning streak. But Georgia will definitely put up a big fight. Definitely swing for the fences. Could I see an upset? I don't think so. If the Georgia upsets the Springboks here, this will be a bigger upset than Japan, right? Probably not as big as Japan. Back then, Japan was really, really like a tier 2 back then. Maybe if Georgia wins this one, it'll be a bit an upset, but probably not as big an upset as Japan beating South Africa. But yeah, I don't see that happening. I just don't see it. Unless South Africa really struggling with COVID, which they did have some issues. But I do think that South Africa put quite a number on the Georgian team. Anyway, score prediction, I'll say 62 points to 14. Okay, that's my predictions. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your predictions are. Let me know what you think of the team. And yeah, there's quite a lot of rugby coming up this weekend. This is like 12 days of Christmas for me. It's rugby this weekend. Wallabies are playing on Wednesday. I don't know why they're not playing like Saturday. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later today.